Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to another amazing episode of the Moscova Media Podcast. I appreciate all my amazing listeners from all over the globe. Really appreciate you guys and girls from India to Pakistan to the places in Africa and also Europe. But most of all, of course, I want to thank my U.S. listeners and Canadian listeners and those in South America. Really appreciate y'all. Thank you to Blog Talk Radio for your greatness. Even though the music was stuck on for a little bit just now, appreciate you. And also all the other networks that we actually are on, from Google to iHeartRadio, Spotify. Also, we do post on YouTube as well. So really appreciate you, all the amazing networks, for allowing us to be on there, and let's continue to do great things. Excuse me. So, again, we do have a great listener base all over the globe. So that's something that we really do take account of. So again, want to send our shout outs to everyone all over the globe. Be sure to actually share the show. Also to post it on your different social media sites when you do catch hold of it, and we will, continue to provide amazing episodes. We have a lot of great guests that are coming on soon, so we want to, prep them, make sure that we have a good network of people that are listening. So with you guys that are listening now, be sure to share the show, and we should get it popping. Want to thank our sponsor, Moscova Enterprises, for doing this thing. And always helping us with our digital marketing, our social media, content posting, and also the ideas for these shows and the content for it. So shout out to Moscova Enterprises. Thank you for all you guys do, and we will keep on growing. So that's one of the things that we really take appreciative of. So, a lot of things going on in the news. Sports is back. As far as football and basketball is supposed to be starting over here in the U.S. Um, so a lot of good things that are happening. Um, VMAs was recently happening. Nicki Minaj decided not to go because she says one of her cousins uh, took the shot and overgrew his testicles and became infertile. So it's something she didn't want to do. So she decided not to go to the VMAs and to stay home, and said that it was due to her child. So that's something that's interesting as different governments and countries try to actually force people to take that jab. So that's something we're dealing with over here, as well as dealing with so many different things like climate change. So we are really wanting to be safe over here, and even though we've seen a lot of life loss, some people are still not with it. Surprisingly enough. So that's one thing we're dealing with. But we do have an amazing guest on the line. Hopefully he is still there with us. We did have some Blog Talk issues, but we do like to bring on amazing guests, which is why we decided to have Karl Beckstrand on, who is actually a media professor and a best-selling and award-winning author, and illustrator of 25 multicultural and multilingual books and more than 60 ebook titles. So this guy's a pretty amazing writer. Amazing writer, and has always, been doing his thing. He actually has his Western survival thriller, To Swallow the Earth. It won an International Book Award in 2016, and his multicultural books have been lauded by publishers Weekly, Kirkus, The Horn Book, and School Library Journal. Raised in Silicon Valley, he has lived abroad and worked with people from all continents except Antarctica. His work reflects cultural diversity not only in protagonists but in collaborators. His illustrators hail from Latin America, Europe, and Asia. Beckstrand has a BA in journalism from BYU and an MA in international relations from American Public University and a broadcast film certificate from a film academy. He teaches media at a state college and since 2014 has run Premier Publishing. Beckstrand has presented to Taiwan's global leadership for youth, city, and state governments, festivals, and schools. His YA stories, ebook mysteries, nonfiction, Spanish bilingual, wordless, career, and STEM books are feature ethnically diverse characters and usually end with a twist. His work has appeared via Amazon, Apple iBooks, Baker and Taylor, Barnes & Noble's, Costco, Desert Book, Follett, Ingram, Papercraft Magazine, Target.com, the U.S. Congressional Record, Walmart, Facebook, Twitter, and PremioBooks.com. That's PREMIO Books.com. And we have the amazing Karl Beckstrand on the line. Hey, Karl, are you there?
I am. Good to be with you.
Thank you, sir. It's amazing to have you. It's a real honor. You've written so many amazing books and always decided to make them diversified, not only in the writing, but also with the people you work with. So really thank you for creating jobs and content for people all over.
It's my pleasure.
Anytime. For those that may not be, aware of who you are, even though I did speak on you just now with your bio, who is Karl Beckstrand, and what would you like people to know about you that they may not be aware of?
Oh, wow. Well, something that people may not be aware of is that despite great success in publishing, I still struggle with feeling like my work is the best or deserves the attention it's received. So yeah, some days I can feel very proud of my work, and some days I feel like I'm a complete loser.
Okay, well that could be with the best of us, especially as we see so many people that look like competition, and we start comparing ourselves. But for you to put in the work and have so much books, and then to start your own company, you're doing things that separate you from not only your competitors, but just people alike that aren't willing to put in that work. So again, you thank you for all your great work. And let's continue to make sure that we continue to spread awareness of it. Now you've written in a number of books, and your Western survival thriller "To Swallow the Earth" actually won an award. But which ones are some of your favorite books, or some other ones that you may think that were overlooked for awards that should have been more recognized?
Oh, I think my favorite books are the true stories. They're picture books of family members, ancestors who immigrated to the United States as children. So I have 4 books. It's the Young American Immigrants series.
Oh, that's amazing. Because that's true. There's so many people that are immigrating, and that's a pretty smart target market that you chose for that book. What are some things that when you are thinking of writing a book, like what are some processes that you go through, or how do you come about actually creating a book? Do you do like market research to see what's out there, or is it just something that comes from inside?
Yeah, typically I get ambushed by story ideas, and they don't let me go until I scribble them down. The biography, the nonfiction books that I just mentioned, I found in my family history from journals and letters. So that was really fun to research and dig up, these accounts of how these ancestors immigrated as children and what they went through and their courage and their faith. But yeah, for fiction, it's just a matter of being attacked almost by a story idea, and it doesn't let you go until you get it out.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Kind of like like you were saying, you have a message that needs to be put out, or a story that needs to put out, and you're a conduit to kind of create the situation and put it out. Kind of like your ancestors are speaking through you. But you did mention, what is your background, and where do your ancestors come from?
So my ancestors came from Sweden, Scotland, and South Africa.
Oh, interesting. Cool. And what type of stories were you finding in their writings that you were portraying through your work?
So the latest book that I published is called Samuel Sailing, and it's about my great-great-uncle who immigrated from South Africa when he was 11 by himself. His family had, of course, been living there, and they sold their business and their home and everything so they could buy passage on a freighter to come to the United States. This was during World War I. And the day they bought their boat tickets, their oldest son, Samuel, got typhoid fever and was hospitalized. And so the book is about how the parents had to make this agonizing decision because they didn't know when they were going to get another chance to leave because of World War I. And they actually had to leave their son in the hospital, and not knowing if he would survive, not knowing if they would see him again. And it was just an amazing story of how they were so distressed at this decision and how and what happened. It's just an amazing story.
Wow, that is pretty amazing. Did they end up ever coming across that child again? Did he survive?
Yes, he survived. Yeah. In fact, a main part of the book came from his personal account of what happened.
Oh wow, that's amazing. And to put that down for your ancestors and for them to speak through you, that's really tight. Um, and I noticed you actually, it seems like you started your own publishing company, Premio Books,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken. What
Yes.
spurred you doing that?
Well, my first book was published by a small publisher here in the Intermountain West. And the day we were going to print, he passed away suddenly. And so that was a huge shock. And authors are typically responsible for marketing their books, whether they're with a publisher or not. But I had to get a crash course in what to do from that point on. And then I worked with one other publisher after that, and then felt like I'd learned enough to start my own company.
Nice, nice. And as far as publishing companies, is it basically like any other company that's created in the United States as far as how to set it up, whether it be LLC or corporation, or
Right.
what are some things that go into an actual publishing company besides writing the book and
Sure.
putting it?
Yeah. So, you set it up like any other entity. You go to irs.gov and get a tax ID, and then you register with your state and perhaps your city if they require it. You get a license, business license. And then, publishing has its own extra requirements. Like if you publish a book, you want to get an ISBN number, International Standard Book Number, to identify the book, for librarians and others around the world. Of course, setting up copyrights for each book, and of course, you can participate in writers' organizations and network and rub shoulders with editors and agents, and it's a great opportunity to learn, to interact with other people in the publishing industry. Typically, it's like other businesses. You have to market, you have to do your accounting, things like that.
Right. Is the publishing company, do you work with other writers, or is it just exclusively to put your books out?
So the novel that we got an International Book Award for was a collaboration with another author, and then I had collaborated on a short stories book. I also distribute other authors, but I'm not actively accepting submissions from authors at this time. We have so many projects of our own to get out that I'm not looking for more manuscripts.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I'm sure so many people are looking to work with you, especially after seeing you win awards and put out so many great content as far as the books and ebooks. With the advent of COVID, was your business affected, and did it change?
Boy, that's a tough one to answer because as a writer, I don't go to an office and work with other writers. So I'm usually by myself writing. So COVID didn't impact us that way. Our sales have gone up in the last couple of years. So perhaps because people, being in lockdown or other situations, so they bought more books or bought ebooks. That's the only thing I can think of.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, so many people have been affected by COVID, either directly or indirectly. Working to figure out what type of business will withstand things like that. It's kind of imperative as people look to either replace their jobs or work with viable income sources. But starting your own company as far as book publishing is definitely one of the smarter ways to go, especially if you're putting out more than one book, and don't want to just self quote unquote publish directly like Amazon or something. Um, Now, what actually makes you feel like making such diverse books, um, as far as the type of characters you have in it or whatnot? What
Sure.
within you makes you feel that that's an important story to tell?
Basically, I grew up in Silicon Valley in Northern California, very cosmopolitan area. So I grew up with people from different countries. I mean, people from all over the world live there. And so sometimes I would pick up a children's book and see these blonde-haired, blue-eyed characters and think, well, that doesn't reflect the world that I see. And then after having lived abroad, um, it, it wasn't my motivation for writing, for example, picture books to be on a platform declaring, diversity. I just happen to include characters of color because that's what I see in the real world.
Oh, right, right. You don't allow it to be whitewashed because in reality it actually isn't.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
amazing.
So they don't have an overt message about diversity. They just happen to reflect the world as I see it.
Okay, that's amazing, and it happens to be showcasing all these different types of people.
Right.
And does that help create like international awareness and sales for the different type of people that see themselves represented in your works?
Gosh, I hope so. I've also used illustrators from around the world, so that's nice too, to be able to have Hispanic illustrators or illustrators from Israel or from Eastern Europe, things like that.
Amazing. Do any of your stories tell like the speak on some of the issues that blacks are going through in the United States, whether it be police or the industrial prison complex? Are you able to touch on any subjects like that, or?
You're the first person to bring up the industrial prison complex, and that is a topic that I might want to tackle. As I said, I haven't historically, presented a message of diversity in my books. They've just been books about other topics. I have books about gardening, about astronomy, and things like that. But yeah, I certainly the world could benefit from better awareness of still exist, not just here but all around the world. I mean, there's all kinds of racism in it, and depending on where you live, it's against different people for their differences. Not necessarily skin color, can be lots of different cultural things too, ethnicity, language, etc.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially in the United States, everyone thinks it's about color when in reality it's about class. People going through a class kind of like war and trying to be perceived as human. But in the United States, you're right. It's not only African Americans or blacks that are considered 3/5 human. It's anyone that becomes a citizen. So that's one of the issues that's usually not spoken about as far as the 3/5 New Deal compromise that created the 14th Amendment citizen and the 3/5 human clause or whatnot. Especially as blacks or people try to figure out what's actually going on in the United States, that's creating a situation where sometimes we see blacks being beaten by police or other people and nothing being done about it, even in the international community with like the UN or whatnot. So it's good to see, even though your books don't focus in on that, it's good to see that you're creating content with people multiculturals in a either positive light and not always like negative, which is what you already do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like the world is much better because of our differences, and the more we embrace differences, the more intelligent we become, the more cultured we are. We just benefit because we learn from each other's ways of doing things.
Right, right. Which is why a lot of my ancestors were always about spreading the knowledge and sharing it with people from all over, whether it be Europe or coming over here to the New World, and sharing, um, the resources and ideas and tips that they have. Um, for example, the Moors going into Spain and creating the Renaissance and the Golden Age over there,
Yeah.
um, which was pretty imperative and something that we just always are into doing as far as sharing knowledge and helping others. And you're able to kind of do that through your books, and there's everywhere. And what are some of the your upcoming book titles and books projects that you have coming up and that you're working on?
So I'm getting ready to publish a self-help book based on a lot of the things that I've learned over the years. It's called More Than Two Choices, and it's helping people to recognize that in most cases, well, there are some choices that are just binary, eat or sleep, breathe or don't breathe. But most choices have a lot more options than two. And so the book is to help people, see that they have multiple options when they have a choice. And then I'm working on a book called Four Sports Books for Kids. It's a compilation of some of my books. And then I'm working on another book of short stories.
Oh, nice, nice. With the book on choices, um, how are you, how are you expressing how to distinguish between a good choice or a bad or negative choice?
So I mentioned a lot of it has come from my personal experience and things I've learned over the years. I spent too much of my life thinking that most choices were binary. I spent too much of my life seeing things as black or white and up or down. And once I had my mind expanded a little bit, to realize that usually if you can use your imagination a little bit, you can often come up with many choices, not only multiple choices, but better choices than you had in mind at first. And choices that can benefit, like if there's a decision that two people are trying to make, and each has their one opinion, but if you talk it out a little bit, you can come up with 3 or 4 other options to choose from. So yeah, it's about that.
Interesting. Yeah, that's pretty dope because a lot of times people are limited by their choices or options that they see in front of them, and self-help to figure that out is definitely key in maximizing our time here on Earth. So that's a pretty interesting topic you are choosing to write about. You seem to have so many great experiences from growing up that you're able to put into your work. Are you able to use these books in your different college classes? Because I noticed you said that you teach at a college.
Yes, I taught journalism at a university, and then I currently teach digital media at a state college. And often I will, well, not often, but once in a while, I will show some of my work to my students, give them examples of things they could do if they wanted to go into publishing or online content. So yeah, it's fun to share and teach what I've learned.
Definitely. What are some ways that you raise capital or funds for your company?
Oh, well, that's book sales. So I'm very motivated. I'm very motivated to have the content be high quality because that produces income for me.
Oh, of course. Right, right. A lot of times companies build up their business credit profile so that they can find appropriate vendors that they can get either net 30 or net 15 accounts from, to help supplement their sales, which a lot of times companies have a hard time depending on their sales to run their company every day when they need supplies. So people either are building up their business credit, going to family offices, or like regular people just going to banks and obtaining funds from banks, whether it be lines of credit or again loans. But again, all those loans have to be paid back, and regardless. So there's multiple ways. But relying directly on what you actually do through your business and your sales is actually one of the key ways, and one of the ways banks look to fund the company anyway. So I see that. That's amazing. Again, for what you do and how you do it, is pretty amazing. No doubt. As far as people reaching out to you and connecting with your books or whatnot, what are some ways people can reach out to you and find you?
Sure. So all of our books are on premiobooks.com. It's P as in Paul, R-E-M as in Mary, I-O, books.com. And they're on Amazon and Walmart and Target websites, and Barnes and Noble websites. So, and then librarians can find us through all the major distributors.
Okay, great. You guys are looking out for some new books to put in your libraries. Definitely check out Karl and his website, Premio Books, and look out for that. Just add to your repertoire of library of books. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Amazing guest. What's in store? Anytime. What's in store for you as far as the future, and what are you looking to do next as you create more books?
Oh yeah, we're always trying to expand our visibility. We have Spanish and bilingual books with pronunciation guide, and of course, we're always trying to expand into other countries, and just get our books in front of parents and teachers and librarians, because we feel like they're fun and they're educational, but their main purpose isn't to teach. Their main purpose is to entertain, and if you sneak in some learning in there, that's great too.
Definitely. Well, again, thank you for coming on, and we appreciate you so much, and hopefully we can collaborate on a project or book in the future, maybe for Haiti or some charity.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
For sure we'll be reaching out. But again, have a great rest of your day, and feel free to come on the show anytime as we continue to expand our networks. But thanks again, and take care, Karl.
Thank you, Vickens. It's been a pleasure.
Anytime. And there you have it, my Moscova Media Podcast listeners. Amazing book publisher by the name of Karl Beckstrand that is not only award-winning, but actively seeks to make sure that his books are not only multicultural, but multilingual. And he has created over 60 ebook titles, over 25 books, and he has way more to come as far as books and content that he's putting out for the people and the youth and the children, and even you parents that, you want to make sure that you have some good books in your libraries. I was watching something on Instagram where a woman was pretty perturbed by a book that her son found in an actual library that was very not for his age, even though it was created for his age, but it was way too mature for his mother's liking. So there's not always good content, even in your libraries and schools, as far as books. So to make sure that you have someone that can create these type of books and that you can put in any school library, public library, or even on to your Kindle or computer, is becoming more and more important these days. As we look for the youth to remain as innocent for as long as possible, and positive and doing good things, and having a vision for a greater future. So people like Karl are definitely becoming more and more imperative these days, which is why I wanted to bring him on board. So thank you so much, amazing listeners from all over the globe. We appreciate y'all for listening on in. Again, without y'all, we wouldn't be here. And let's continue to do what we do. Check out my digital marketing course in the description below. You'll see more about how we can help you with your digital marketing, but that's something that you can intake for yourself and learn and figure out what you might be missing or how you might be able to do one thing better. And just reach out to me if you need more assistance and are one of those people that don't want to do everything yourself, whether it be your marketing or social media, or SEO, or build their own website. A lot of times people want to cut corners, do everything themselves, and then wonder why they have so many issues in the back end or whatnot. So thank you again for the people that are checking that out. Be sure to go to MoscovaEnterprises.com. If you want to follow me, go to Instagram /TheMoscova or Twitter Moscova ENT. That's MOSCOVA ENT. Or the company Instagram at MOSCOVA ENT PRISES, Moscova Enterprises. So we are everywhere from TikTok to YouTube. Check out our Moscova Media, what's it called, channel or whatnot. And, you can see an amazing array of videos on how to do different marketing things or tasks or whatnot. We have a ton of actual videos on there, walkthroughs for you to be supplemented with, as well as our podcast episodes we have on there. So thank y'all so much. We will be with you again soon. It's your man, Vikens Moskova, over here providing the positivity, and let's get it right. Thank y'all. Be sure to follow back, share, save the show, download it, and anything you can, because we really need your support so that we can stay on there and create more work and jobs for each other. Not only Karl, but also me. I love hiring people from all over the globe to help with different tasks as far as delegation, and I will continue to do that. So let's continue to support where we can. So definitely get the digital marketing course on Thinkific, download and share the show, and I will do my best to provide amazing content for you guys, whether I work with them or not, but I'm definitely looking to have more people on the show that I actually can collaborate and work with as far as my platform. So thank y'all, and stay positive. I'm here. Check out the past episodes in the archives, and definitely be sure to hit me up in the DMs with show ideas and guest ideas. And peace is out. It's your man, Vikens Moskova, over here. Oh, yeah. Almost forgot. Shout out to SAG-AFTRA. Thank you for allowing me to be on your platform as well. Shout out to SAG-AFTRA. Thank you very much. Peace out. It's your man, Vickens Mascuba.